Alright, and in this Legacy Vodcast of the 2015 DM patch for Voobly, we've got Yoshii as the Red Thor player, Nakamura as the Blue Zeus player. And I think this map's Watering Hole, I'm pretty sure, just judging by the water layout. So Nakamura sending 6 of his elves forward to do a bit of forward building. Yoshii gonna look to do the same, perhaps. It's right on the water, man. That's crazy. I suppose that's to try and deny any sort of army movement around the edge of it, rather than having to worry about throwing down walls like Nakamura's doing. Just use production facilities, man. So again, production quite close to the water just to deny army movement around this area until it's pushed off. Manticore just chilling, not actually heading up to harass, but Jason is going to run right past the Frost Giant. But this is a good engagement for Nakamura actually, because these guys aren't cheap. I mean, heroes aren't cheap either, but heroes will just flat out win that trade against a unit that's otherwise extremely tanky. But in the meantime, Yoshii's getting off a huge amount of building here. I have no problem maxing out his army behind all this. Nakamura adding some more production, mostly getting military academies. Being Zeus, I think he's mostly going to go for the hoplite spam. So I suppose Yoshii's mostly going to go for throwing axemen and what else? There's no back in these days. There's no Bogsvargir or whatever, however you say it. The ranged heroes out of the hill forts. So what do you make, ballistas and rams, and just try and put pressure on the buildings as much as you can? So second town center finishing up for Yoshii. He's going to go try and wrestle control of here to grab the third one. Actually deleting one of his barracks because he knows he's going to always be able to put another one back up, replace the wall. But for now he needs to just try and get control of this third town center, because Nakamura going to be able to wrest control of his third town center if left to his own devices. A troll being bullied by a single hoplite at the moment, and if it turns around and hits it once, it kills it. That's pretty funny. Nakamura pretty much finishing off his defensive layout now. Looking to try and pressure some of these structures of Yoshii's, but I think that Colossus is going to get surrounded now. Not sure if that's all that great for Nakamura, because yeah, Yoshii's going to be able to snare it and really be a pain in the ass for it, while at the same time he can also try really disrupting Nakamura's attempt at getting the forts up now, because the Greek building is going to be a little bit slower in setting up when you go for this many elves as Yoshii has, so that's sort of his advantage, even though I think he's probably committed a little bit more in terms of resources at the moment. He's certainly got a bit more on the field. There we go. Nakamura's pretty much maxed out. But yeah, in terms of structures, Yoshii's definitely made a bigger investment, I think, with this huge forward base here. Well, he's going to look at building another one around his third town center. Well, Nakamura just has a little bit of production back at home. So it's annoying not being able to see the eco text in this version of the game. So Yoshii's streaming forward with a lot of Jarls. I mean, these guys are a nice hero cavalry, but I don't know how they're going to fare against hoplites. Really, hoplites are a nice anti-cav infantry, so is Yoshii better off just printing throwing axemen and trying to use that to his advantage and just trying to hit and run the eco with the Jarls? Nice frost there on the Colossus, while the Frost Giant just backing off out of the fight for now. He's going to try and punch a single ranged unit or two, maybe. Or is he going to attack the Colossus? I don't know if this is such a great idea. Although, it doesn't give them the armor that the Frost does. The Frost spell. Frost God Power, sorry. The actual ability of the individual Frost units doesn't give them... Frost Giant units doesn't give units crazy amounts of armor. So you can still pick them off, but it's the Frost Giant who got picked off there. And meanwhile, this is really nice for Nakamura. Only a handful of hoplites is really enough to deny the settlement from going down. Yoshii mostly transitioning to that throwing axeman army to really whittle down the hoplites, but there are some Harpaspis being thrown into the mix and some Toxotes, so he's going to have to add some raiders from here. Nakamura going to have to make sure he keeps a handful of hoplites in the composition, but still, yes, mostly focuses on anti-infantry while there is a throwing axeman ball out, while this other infantry ball, mostly throwing axemen again, being used to try and secure the third town center for Yoshii, but at the same time he's managed to deny Nakamura's third town center, so both of these guys restricting one another to 2 town center at this point, which is hurting their ability to really get that nice buffer of villagers behind this. So there has been a plenty thrown down right at the back of Nakamura's base. Well, Yoshii freezing Nakamura's units and going to try and reposition himself to actually pressure this forward town center. Well, his own third town center finishes up. Can't even see what god powers the guys have got left, which is a little bit annoying. So anyway, that fortress is going to fall quite rapidly. Colossus is going to get wrapped up attacking units instead of going for buildings, but I mean there's not a lot in particularly close range of him at the moment. He's going to get frozen there by the Frost Giant. Well, yeah, Yoshii doing mostly ignoring the units in the Frost for the most part, which is definitely what I think people should do in favor of, yeah, taking engagement against unfrosted units or trying to instantly punish any building. But both our players are going to try and wall and tower up one another while Nakamura uses the opportunity during the ceasefire. Why is he killing the elephant? Oh, try and ruin his hunt, hey? Or was he just trying to wall up there? I think it might have just been when trying to wall up he's accidentally right clicked it. Weird. I don't know if he's deliberately tried to grief the hunt there. But yeah, Nakamura gonna be able to get the settlement, but basically being walled in by Yoshii, but also trying to wall himself up a little bit more through all this because he's securing a market line, and having gotten a second market now, he's going to be able to pump a lot of caravans. Yoshii just now going for his caravan eco behind this, but yeah, bearing in mind both these players have established their 3 TC eco now, so they want to look at getting a handful of caravans with that extra 20 pop, if not a handful of extra villagers. But I mean, obviously they will run out of gold on the map, or at least safely accessible gold at some point, so caravans are always a nice to have, and the earlier you can get them in while still maintaining control of the map, the better, because obviously it just means you don't have to worry about constantly falling back from gold to gold to gold, and you've mostly just got to worry about how you're going to manage your food and wood eco and just keeping the caravans alive. So nice use of the healing spring here for Yoshii. He's going to be able to really protect this army, and we're even seeing some Myrmidods added into the fray, so I'm not sure what these guys are particularly great against other than buildings, or are they just sort of a good generalist unit? Some ballista added into the mix, so this is going to keep Nakamura having to keep a bunch of villagers repairing the town center, possibly even garrison for bonus damage here, just to support this force of his as it engages. Mostly throwing axemen. I mean, he's up against mostly Toxotes, so he will need to add a handful of Jarls or myth units or raiders into the mix, but yeah, he's already got some Jarls there now. But Nakamura's just got that many villas repairing. This fortified town center is only slowly being brought down. Want some Huskarls added in too, so I think these guys, they also have a little bit more pierce armor. Yeah, they do have a little bit more pierce armor than the throwing axemen. Because yeah, throwing axemen and Ulfsarks just get flat out countered by the Toxotes. It's not so bad for the throwing axemen because obviously they are a range unit themselves. But all that town center is so dangerously low. Yoshii having only one ballista focus it while the rest are supporting and trying to take down this backline of Toxotes, and it seems to be doing well for him. So Nakamura, the pressure's on. He's down to only the 2 town centers. Don't know what he was trying to stream through there. Maybe a villager to try side build. Oh, it's gotten picked off. So Nakamura trying to re-establish his 3rd TC here in the middle of the map. But Yoshi's even got it mostly walled off, so this makes it a little hard for Nakamura to try and secure this. Try and put towers around it however he wants. Because he's got to be careful he doesn't cram too many towers here that it makes it a pain to actually try and get villagers around it to repair it and build it. At the moment, that Colossus of his going down, but he's got another pair of Colossi in the fight. I do wonder if he's best off trying to harass the market of Yoshii here at this point, because bearing in mind he does have access to, well, Yoshii has no access to Nakamura's market, or no easy access. It's all perfectly walled off on every side. But Yoshii is finding it hard to sort of fight under the tower and so close to all the Greek production as well. And Bellerophon being used to really ruin the army, targeting there of the Norse player. But look at this. Nakamura just engaging on the ballista, running out, and it's keeping the Jarls from really being a threat to this backline of Nakamura's, which there isn't a lot of it at the moment. Because bearing in mind, Yoshii has that extra 20 pop buffer at the moment. So if he can stay focused on targets here in this fight, he can really disrupt Nakamura and stop this settlement from ever going up. So he does manage to deny it once again. And the Colossi are finding it hard to engage on the ballista and on the buildings. Here we go, one of them's going to have a go at this fortress and another one being used. Ooh, doesn't quite make it. The Jarls going to fight it, and I'm pretty sure the Jarls are a hero unit, aren't they? Yeah, they do some bonus damage against myth units. Ooh, and this is nice for Nakamura. He's focusing down ballista and one of the hill forts, but Yoshii is streaming forward with everything he's got. He's got the fire giant. He's going to be able to try and take down this tower pretty quickly. For now, it's being used to bully all the Toxotes, but Odysseus is focusing down the fire giant. Bearing in mind the fire giant does a lot less to Odysseus than the Odysseus does to the fire giant. We haven't really seen any crazy split pushing or anything yet, but Nakamura is actually gathering that elephant in the meantime, just keeping these villagers busy and keeping his eco going while he sets up to take the 3rd town center once again. So he's got a little bit in the bank. Well, Yoshii, he's got plenty of gold and a little bit of food, but he needs to keep his wood eco going here. Probably even needs to look at getting a ox cart over there. He's going to get one over on this side. I mean, sustaining his eco behind this is important. He's got plenty of gold in the bank, but he needs to be able to make sure he can keep training what he needs to keep training. So he's actually, cut his food eco. He's got everything on gold and wood at the moment, so he's up to That's 63 Vils. Nakamura. He's only got 29 Vils at this stage. So Naka's army is massive compared to Yoshii's in terms of the population commitment. And most of... Oh, well, I suppose... I take that back. 21 Vils. He's up to 51 Vils. So he's still down by about 13 Vils, but he's got most of them here actually trying to force up the settlement. Thankfully he's got enough in the bank that he can take this engagement at the moment. Actually streaming in some infantry from around the back. I don't know where they've come from. There's a lot of ballists just to make sure this settlement does not finish. We keep restricting Nakamura on this 140 pop. Nakamura actually dipping a little bit in terms of his pop. Yoshii's still at that 160 pop mark. The settlement half done, but it is going to get focused down once again. Bearing in mind it will not finish until it's that health tops up, I don't think. Oh no, that's right, it will actually finish, but yeah, it's just hard to actually gauge because there's no actual no actual progress bar. The health works as one until it takes damage. And most of the ballista have now been picked off, so nice use of Bellerophon and Jason there. Still an awful lot of villagers here for Nakamura. Trying to force up the TC once again. Sound like a broken record now. And Yoshii still cramming out some more ballista at the moment. What's his composition now? He's mostly got Huskarls and Jarls. He hasn't really got anything in the way of throwing axemen. Well, Myrmidons for Nakamura. So yeah, these guys just seem to be good against just about everything, hey? Unique units Imba. Greek unique units Imba. Yoshii is quite a bit ahead in terms of score. This pressure he's applying is really putting him in a good spot. He's banking up quite a bit of gold behind all this, and he's continually denying that settlement from going up here. Nakamura still has 20... Yeah, still 16 Vils over here. Right now he's going to have to try and cram up individual towers, repair his existing tower, and still try and get the settlement up just to split up the ballista damage. But now they're starting to assist in the fight here. The Norse units streaming forward. But bearing in mind, as they creep forward, they're coming out of range of the healing spring. It's going to get harder for them to keep this push up because that slow health regen has been really, really nice to Yoshii in this fight. Ooh, a couple of dwarves coming up just to tank a bit of damage. Because I think Yoshii's looking to kill them off without actually deleting them. Because now that he's run out of gold to mine, the dwarves not as efficient as villagers on food and wood. So he's just going to kill them on pop, not even worry about converting them to Ulsarks at this point, because he doesn't really want that sort of composition, I don't think. So he's continuing to pressure Nakamura, but Naka's finished a couple of towers here, so this gives him a bit of assistance in the fight. While, you know, a half-finished town center's not going to help him in a fight, not going to give him the population that a full health town center will. So Naka is going to cram up the town center, the towers, sorry, so it might make it a little easier to get the TC, but right now Yoshii is really steaming ahead on score by cutting Nakamura off on this third town center. It's made it really tough for him to try and get out of this. So Nakamura still has plenty of gold in the bank. I think he actually probably needs a little bit more wood, if anything. And and a little bit more food in this point, because if he loses anything particularly quickly, it can be hard for him to actually pay for it all. Yoshii continuing to stream forward. That market off to the side has been so far extremely safe, and he's now actually warded all this off, so it is safe. So the opportunity Nakamura had a couple of minutes ago, no longer there. Nakamura again getting a bit wood-starved. Well, he probably needs to look at getting some more hoplites back out now, because there is a whole bunch of Jarls in the front to actually tank anything, so he probably needs to get some anti-cav damage in the comp. The settlement still exposed, so Yoshii going to be able to snipe that last defensive tower, and I think he'll be able to take the settlement as well. In fact, Nakamura down only 5 vills here. He's brought the rest back to gather, or he's lost them. Don't know what that was. It's expired. Deleted a couple of caravans in order to get more units out, eh? Oh, but all those vills going down trying to build the guard tower, so Nakamura in a bit of a tight spot at the moment, and GG, Nakamura taps out. Yoshii's the winner.